What's up, readers? Welcome back to Unread Book Summary. Thanks for being here no matter where you're watching or listening from. Smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a summary. Okay, today we are jumping into The Secret of Secrets. And wow, this book, it's quite a ride.
It really is a proper thriller.
Yeah, a thrill, but it's also trying to tackle some huge ideas about the human mind, consciousness.
Definitely. It drops us right into Prague, which is, this amazing backdrop. Ancient architecture, history.
Mixed with really cutting-edge, almost sci-fi neuroscience. We're following Robert Langdon, of course, and Dr. Katherine Solomon.
And they're racing against time, trying to uncover this secret. A secret that, honestly, could change everything we think we know about consciousness and maybe destabilize a few things along the way.
It's a few things, yeah. Like global intelligence, no big deal.
All right. So our mission today, I guess, is to unpack all of that. We're going to distill the main story, look at the characters, what drives them.
And dig into the science concepts.
Right.
Because that's kind of the foundation for the whole plot.
Exactly. We want to make sure you get the really mind-bending parts, the details that make this book, well, pretty provocative.
Okay, let's dive in. The opening is intense. We start with this neuroscientist, Dr. Brigitte Gessner.
Right. And she's having this experience. She thinks it's the afterlife.
Yeah, she describes floating, like totally aware but disembodied, over the Vltava River in Prague.
A really vivid, profound moment, but then...
Then bam, she's yanked back.
Oh.
Violently. And straight into this brutal interrogation. It's a shocking start.
It absolutely is, and it sets up the central mystery immediately. Is consciousness actually tied to the physical body? Is this afterlife experience real in some way?
And this connects directly to why Langdon gets pulled in, because Katherine Solomon, his collaborator.
She has this nightmare, a really terrifying specific dream. She sees this weapon, a mace, and just feels this overwhelming sense of impending doom.
Prophetic, almost.
Yeah.
And Langdon, being Langdon, has seen enough weird stuff to maybe take it seriously.
Well, yeah. Later, he's on the Charles Bridge, iconic spot, and he sees someone who looks exactly like the figure from Catherine's nightmare.
Holding something that looks like that mace.
Exactly, and he just snaps. He thinks some catastrophe is about to happen, an attack, an explosion, something.
So he reacts instinctively.
Dramatically, you could say. He literally jumps out of the window of the Four Seasons Hotel.
Right into the Vltava. The freezing cold river.
I mean, talk about an escape plan. It's pure panic, trying to prevent a disaster he doesn't even fully understand.
But, jumping out of a five-star hotel into a major river tends to attract attention.
Just a bit, yeah. The Czech authorities are on him immediately. Captain Janacek.
And Janacek is, understandably, skeptical. Langdon's explanation involves a, quote, magical dream.
Right. It sounds completely unhinged. Janacek immediately connects Langdon's erratic behavior to Catherine's research.
Her theories on the paranormal, on consciousness, which are already controversial.
It's the perfect setup, really. Langdon looks crazy, but his actions are actually tied into the very ideas Katherine is trying to prove.
Which brings us to those ideas. Her big lecture, the core intellectual part of the book.
Yeah, she's trying to present this really groundbreaking theory. She basically says the way science currently looks at consciousness is totally wrong.
She calls it the geocentric model of the mind, like how people used to think the sun revolved around the earth.
Exactly. It's a powerful analogy. She's saying neuroscience is stuck in that old way of thinking, assuming the brain creates consciousness.
But maybe it doesn't.
That's her whole point. She thinks that's the fundamental mistake. Her model flips it.
Okay, so what's her model?
She argues the brain isn't the generator. It's more like an interface.
Or
a receiver.
Like a radio receiver.
Kind of, yeah. The brain just tunes into consciousness, which she suggests is non-local. It exists outside the physical body.
Whoa. Okay, that's a big leap. Does she have evidence or arguments?
She does. She points to several anomalies, things that conventional neuroscience has a hard time explaining cleanly.
Like what?
Well, first, savant syndrome. Cases where someone has a brain injury, like this boy hit by a baseball, she mentions.
And suddenly they develop this incredible skill, like complex calendar calculations.
Exactly. How can trauma create an ability that wasn't there before? Her theory suggests maybe the injury sort of retunes the brain, allowing it to access this external information.
Okay, interesting. What else?
Near-death experiences, NDEs, people across totally different cultures report remarkably similar things, right?
Yeah, leaving the body, the tunnel, the light. This feeling of peace, accessing knowledge.
It's incredibly consistent, and she connects this to that French phrase for orgasm, la petite mort.
The little death.
Right.
Yeah.
She suggests that feeling of consciousness expanding or separating, whether in an NDE or even during intense physiological states, might be a real biological response. The brain's interface just temporarily loosens its grip, maybe.
Okay, but hang on. If consciousness and memories are out there, non-local, why does brain damage cause amnesia or dementia? Shouldn't the signal still be fine?
Ah, good question.
Yeah.
And she addresses that directly. She'd say the brain isn't the hard drive, it's the reader, it's the interface.
The reader gets damaged.
Exactly. Trauma, disease, drugs, they damage the physical tuner, the radio itself. It makes it hard to pick up the station, but the broadcast, the memory, the consciousness is still out there.
Okay, I think I follow. It's like the data's in the cloud, but your modem is broken.
That's pretty much her analogy, yeah. Which leads to her third point, the memory storage problem.
Right. Just the sheer amount of data. A whole lifetime of sights, sounds, smells, emotions. Can the physical brain actually hold all that?
She argues, mathematically, probably not. Not with the fidelity we experience. The storage requirement is just astronomical.
So if it can't fit in the brain.
It must be stored externally. The brain accesses it, retrieves it, interacts with it, like accessing files from a cosmic cloud server.
That is, yeah, that flips everything upside down.
Completely.
And you can see why maybe some powerful people wouldn't want that idea getting out, which is where the thriller part really ramps up.
Oh, yeah. Langdon's editor, Jonas Falkman, discovers Katherine's manuscript, its codenamed Sam.
Solomon anonymous text.
Right. It's been completely wiped, not just from the main server, but the backups, too. Everything. Gone.
Poof. That's terrifying.
And it gets worse. Falkman gets kidnapped, abducted by these agents.
And they tell him who's behind it?
They do. It's an organization called InQtel, or just Q.
InQtel.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds familiar. Isn't that a real thing?
It is, yeah. It's the CIA's venture capital arm, basically. A nonprofit that invests in tech for the intelligence community. Very real, very powerful, very clandestine.
So this isn't just some random group. This is tied to U.S. intelligence at a high level.
Deep connections. Unlimited resources, it seems. And their goal isn't just to argue with her theory.
They want it gone. Suppressed. Why?
Because they're already using it, or applying the principles. That becomes clear when Langdon and Katherine get to Prague.
They meet with Ambassador Heidi Nagel.
And she confirms there's a top-secret CIA project operating nearby. Code name, Ishik.
Ishik. Turkish for threshold.
Hmm.
What did she tell them about where it is?
This is key. Nagel reveals this trend. Major intel facilities moving out of places like, isolated desert warehouses in Arizona.
Where they might attract satellite attention or oversight.
Exactly. And moving into dense, busy European cities like Prague.
Why? Just to hide in plain sight?
Pretty much. Transporting materials, moving personnel. It all just blends into the urban chaos. Satellites can't easily track it. Plus, being overseas, maybe using old Cold War infrastructure like tunnels.
Helps them avoid the kind of strict congressional oversight they'd face back in the U.S.
Precisely. It makes the whole operation feel incredibly slippery and sophisticated. Global reach, minimal accountability.
Okay, so while they're navigating this conspiracy in Prague, this other character emerges, the Gollum.
Ah, yes, the Golem. A really fascinating element. He's like this modern version of the old Prague legend, the protector made of clay.
But he's terrifyingly real and violent. His whole purpose seems to be protecting this one person, Sasha Vesna.
Right. Sasha's background is crucial. She was a patient of Dr. Gessner, the neuroscientist from the start, institutionalized for epilepsy.
Specifically temporal lobe epilepsy, which the book notes has historical links to, like mystical visions and sometimes genius.
Yeah, it adds another layer. But the big twist with the Golem, it's psychological.
He's not actually a separate person.
No. The Golem is Sasha's alternate personality. It's dissociative identity disorder, DID.
Wow. So her own mind created this protector figure.
Exactly. It's her subconscious manifesting this incredibly strong, knowledgeable, ruthless persona to keep her safe. It explains his almost supernatural abilities and knowledge.
He's literally her survival instinct made flesh, in a way.
A very powerful way. And it explains some earlier events, too. This Golem personality is actually the one responsible for killing Harris, another character, and Dr. Gessner herself.
Protecting Sasha at all costs. Okay, that's a heavy twist.
No.
It brings us towards the climax then. Langdon and Katherine finally find Ishik, the threshold facility.
They do. They travel deep underground, silent maglev train, the whole deal. Very high-tech.
And what do they find there? What is the threshold?
It's basically the next generation of the CIA's old psychic spying program, Project Stargate. Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
The remote viewing stuff.
Right. Well, Ishik is that, but on steroids,
Yeah.
using Catherine's non-local consciousness model and some terrifying tech.
Why are they doing it?
They have these advanced tanks, EPR tanks. They're basically modified ECMO machines, heart-lung bypass systems.
Okay.
But instead of just supporting life, they replace the subject's blood with this super-cooled saline solution.
Why?
It induces controlled hypoxia, a state of temporary clinical death. It protects the brain while the body is essentially paused.
Good grief. To what end?
To create psychonauts, that's the term they use.
Psychonauts.
Yeah. A CIA guy, Finch, lays it all out. By inducing this near-death state safely, they can reliably break the connection between the mind and body.
Free the consciousness.
Exactly. Once that non-local consciousness is free, untethered, they believe they can pilot it.
Pilot it. Like a drone.
Like an invisible, undetectable drone made of pure consciousness. Send it anywhere in the world, secure facilities, private meetings to spy, completely untraceable, no physical barriers.
That's horrifying. The ultimate surveillance tool.
But there's one more piece. The real breakthrough Katherine realizes they've made. It's not just about inducing the state.
It's about making the psychonaut stable, reliable.
Yes. They're actually implanting synthetic neurons, these nanoelectric biofilaments, tiny brain implants.
Okay, but doesn't the brain usually take years, decades even, to fully integrate something like that?
Normally, yes. But Ishik found a shortcut, a way to drastically speed up that integration process. They call it forced collaboration.
Forced collaboration. How does that work?
They use Hebb's rule, neurons that fire together, wire together. They hook the person up to intense VR simulations combined with drugs.
And they give the organic brain and the synthetic neurons the exact same incredibly demanding task simultaneously.
Right. It forces them to work together, to synchronize, to wire together at an accelerated rate. Years of integration compressed into days.
And that's the secret they stole from Catherine's work.
That's the technological leap detailed in her manuscript. The theory that makes forced collaboration possible. That's why Q needed it destroyed.
Because if her theory got out, it would prove that their psychonaut program wasn't just possible, it was operational.
Precisely. Her science was the blueprint they were using for the ultimate weaponization of the soul.
Wow. So, tracing it back, we went from ancient Prague legends, the Golem, right into this underground facility creating consciousness-based super spies. The scope is just massive.
It really is. History, mysticism, psychology, cutting-edge speculative science, global conspiracy. It weaves it all together.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The biggest takeaway, perhaps the most provocative thought the book leaves you with, is what happens if Katherine is right.
If consciousness really is non-local.
Yeah. If that's proven, scientifically demonstrated to the world, the idea that our self, our awareness, doesn't actually die with the body.
It could fundamentally change everything about humanity.
The book hints that maybe, just maybe, it could help us evolve beyond the primal, universal fear of death itself.
A truly profound thought, and maybe the real secret of secrets. This concludes today's book summary. Thank you for joining us and for your continued support. Please subscribe to stay updated with our latest summaries, and we'll see you in the next video.